Hey, what's up? What's up? It is Friday the 9th. We already a third of the way through May. Go ahead and get this in there. We're gonna take a look at your moon observation journal. First things first, this was sent in by Dylan, right? And he took a picture on a telescope. Okay, so that was cool. Boom, and then here is the moon, right? So hopefully you get that in. So we've been on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So that should be your fourth one right here for the date. So each one of these is just your week. So now, if you want to do this weekend, over the weekend, that will be extra credit. So if you get those two observations, that will be extra credit. If you do not, right, it's okay. You just need the 4 days: Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday's moon. That does mean you do need to do Friday's moon, which is tonight. So remember that. So you got to do tonight. And then Saturday and Sundays, those are optional for you to go observe. Again, optional. Okay. Here's the question, right? So we're looking at this, and then we got some data. So are we moving towards the full moon or away from the full moon? Are we moving, again, towards the full moon or away from the full moon, right? So I'm going to try and make sure to get at least one picture from this weekend, and I'll see if I can get that for you guys, and then we'll take a look at that on Monday. So what do you guys think? A lot of people, there's a couple classes that think we're moving towards the full moon. There's 2 periods, and then the other periods, but we'll see. As we keep gathering data, we'll figure that out. Okay, cool. So constellations in the sun. So these are some of the things we talked about yesterday. We said that a constellation is a group of stars that make a pattern in the night sky, at least what we think that it looks like from Earth. That's our observation point. A star is a celestial body, and it's consisting of gas, right? And then it also has its own gravity, and that its energy is from nuclear reactions. So the sun is a star, and it's the closest star to us. It is our star, and we revolve around that thing. And then also it uses hydrogen, and it does nuclear fusion. So it fuses them together, then they become helium. Then we talked about a solar system right here, and that's a star group of planets or other celestial bodies that are held together by the gravitational attraction, and they revolve around that. And basically in a solar system, there's a sun or a star at the middle, and then there's planets or celestial bodies that rotate around that, and we'll talk about what celestial bodies are right now. But I do want to say this. These are some of the constellations, and we're going to talk about, because people like astrology, astronomy. What is the difference between the two? They have some overlap, but they are not the same. We're going to talk about them. Now look at these constellations. They look like the things that they say that they are. These are some interesting things. This one right here is Gemini. That does mean twins. Cancer means crab, even though that clearly in this picture looks like a lobster. Leo is lion. Some people think it looks like a horse. Virgo is like maiden or like virgin, right? So a young woman there. Does that look like a woman in this constellation? This one is called Libra. This LB is where we get pounds from. So that means like scale. Scorpius is scorpion. So these are some of them. The one that to me is the kind of the craziest one, this Pisces one, the one's supposed to be a fish. I'm not sure how they saw that. Like some of these things, I'm not sure how they saw it. But obviously at some point, someone looked in the sky and was like, I think it looks like that. And then they begin to say, yeah, we think. Right? So people, right? And is that idea just like, if you take a look at this, we would say the colors that are here are red, right? You have to remember though, we called this red, and humans, right? We agreed to say that this color is red, and it's the same kind of way with the constellations. Now, sometimes we have things where we tell stories, and because of those stories, we're like, yeah, we told a story about the sky, and then as that story grew, then more and more people just accepted it by that name, and that's how those things got there. Okay, so celestial body positioned in or relating to the sky, and really when we're talking about celestial body, we mean like outer space, and this is as observed in astronomy. And if you take a look, stars, planets, moons, asteroids, comets, nebulas, star clusters, galaxies, pulsars, quasars, black holes, dark matter, these will all be considered what we would say are celestial bodies. As you can see, is a whole bunch. Just again, take this note, pause the screen as you need it. I'm going to keep moving forward. Cool. So astrology. Now we're gonna talk about the difference between astrology and astronomy. So astrology is the study of the movements and positions of celestial bodies as interpreted as having influence on human affairs in the natural world. So the first part, the study of the movements and positions of celestial bodies, that has an overlap with astronomy. So astrology, they do study where are the planets at, where are the moons at, how close are they to Earth, how are they rotating, like what's going on. Like, so astrology does keep track of these things. However, where astrology vastly differs than astronomy is, astrology is now saying, based on the fact that Venus is close to us, based on the fact that the moons of Mars is here and located here, then that has some effect on me as a human and how I am going to act. Based on the fact of how the planets were lined up when you were born, this is the personality type that you will have. Now, the thing about astrology is it varies from culture to culture and country to country, belief system to belief system. They are not all the same. Like the way that people interpret or tell stories or say the influence on human affairs astrology wise would be very, very different. Even in scary movies, we kind of have this influence where a werewolf comes out when there's a full moon. Again, how the celestial bodies have an effect on humans, right, here on Earth, right, or maybe on the natural world. People will say this as well, like, oh, during a full moon, people just act crazy, and what they're ascribing is, yo, there's some influence that the celestial bodies, right, or that the moon or a planet is having on people and how they act. That's what astrology is saying. Now, astronomy, which is what we are going to be studying and looking at, is the branch of science that deals with celestial objects in space. Same kind of thing. Where are the objects at? How big are they? How far apart are they? How do they rotate? How do they move? What is their gravitational? What are they made out of, right? Like, could we space travel? How long would it take us to get there? Are there planets that have life somewhere else? We're looking for planets in what we call the Goldilocks zone. If you remember her story, she, by the way, Goldilocks, man, she's a thief, man. She broke in. That story begins, some people leave, and she breaks into their house. Anyway, that's just me. I'm not trying to ruin your childhood stories. I'm just saying she broke into people's houses, man. Okay, and then she's like, oh, this is too hot. This is too cold. Oh, this one's just right. So when they call it Goldilocks, they mean like a part of a solar system which would be just right for the things that we would say are life. So like temperature wise, so not too hot, not too cold. Maybe there's water, maybe there's oxygen. So the conditions, like are they in a part of the solar system where the conditions are good for life, right? That's why we would call it the Goldilocks zone. So that's kind of like where we live, like in this Goldilocks zone where, hey, all the conditions are correct, temperature, water, like all the different stuff for life. So that's the kind of things that astronomy is concerned about. Astronomy is also concerned about, is there something coming to hit the planet? What kind of threats do we have there? Can we ward that off? Are there more stars? So like all of those things, right? That's what astronomy is really concerned with. And there's more. I haven't even talked about everything. Also, what's happening to the universe? How did the universe get to be the way that was? And astronomy really is looking like all the way back to the beginning. Every science doesn't go back that far, but astronomy is like, yeah, it's also concerned with how did we get here? There was nothing, and now we're contracting out and expanding. So but at one point we were in one space, and how did we get there? How did that actually happen? So astronomy studies all of these things, okay? So that is the difference between astrology and astronomy, okay? Cool. So we are actually done for today. That is actually everything. So all of these kind of terms, they will be on the quiz. I'm just putting that out there. All of these things will be on the quiz. Nothing is super crazy, but all of these terms will be on the quiz that we will be having this Friday. That is correct. This Friday we will be having a quiz. All right. Love y'all. Peace.